I'm giving myself a cutoff date. Tomorrow, it's gotta sound good. So cross your fingers. 24 hours from now, we'll be able to move on. Maybe that's the one. Maybe Mix 5 is the one.
Behind the scenes with Royish good looks studio diary.
Today is May 1st. This is our 22nd studio session diary. I want to start this session off by reading to you all the phenomenon of Parkinson's law. The notion that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. So here we are, it's May 1st. May 4th is right around the corner. Revenge of the 5th coming up on Friday. And here we are, we're still working on the darn song because we have the time to do so. Now, to be fair, I don't have a lot of crazy revisions to make today, but just because we had the time to make the revisions, that's the only reason we're really making them. Because if I show you, let me show you some of the revisions I want to make today. Verse into pre-chorus 2, there's a weird transition into the crash interlude thing. Guitars or drums cut off oddly. Never heard this before, heard it today. It's really not even a big deal, but it's the smallest little thing that started to bug me all of a sudden, because there's nothing else to bug me, but I've got time to work. Verse 3, palm mute build-up, let's automate it, just a touch. Sounds fine, but just a touch, we can make it a little bit better. And it seems like overall that we need to brighten the vocals gently, I've written here. They're okay, I think we've ducked in like the de-essing pretty well, but it'd be nice just to have them pop a little bit more without turning them up overall. I don't know. Parkinson's law. We've got time to tweak, so we're gonna tweak the mix. And hopefully tomorrow morning, I'll listen to it, it'll be good to go, and we'll submit it, and then that's the end of Parkinson's law. Tomorrow, it's gotta sound good. If tomorrow something sounds off, we're gonna fix it, and that's it. We need to commit to it. This is the real therapy session that we're having right now, is that I'm giving myself a cutoff date of May 2, that tomorrow, we can print one more revision down, but we're gonna have to do it, early in the morning to give time to actually host everything in the afternoon. Doesn't take a ton of time, but it still takes some time. Also, hosting the song means we're hosting the artwork. Everything sort of ties together. Now the video, Parkinson's law will still apply to the video right up until, the moment it goes live. Submitting to iTunes and Spotify, we've got to do that ahead of time. So we got to finish this by tomorrow. Couple easy tweaks here. This should take us no more than, 15 minutes today. Cross your fingers. So let's jump into it.
Behind the scenes.
All right, so number one, I don't know what this is. The V2 into pre-C2, this was really weird on headphones. It's when we go up to like the crash, something weird happens. So the guitars, they don't cut off there. The bass doesn't cut off. Just felt like it was a weird beat. There was something missing going into it.
Does that make you Mandalorian? If you would only,
Maybe it was part of the automation being a little weird, that like the drums just get
if you would
a little too loud there.
that make you
I thought it was right here though. That moment there, can we show all the volumes? These are all the volumes. There's nothing weird going on with volume rides there, right? On everything. There's no weird automation going on. So I don't know what's going on there. I heard this on earbuds first. Let's check it on headphones.
Does that make you Mandalorian? If you
I should have brought my headphones out here, my earbuds, because I don't hear anything now. So Parkinson's law, you're finding stuff to worry about that maybe isn't a problem. I suppose I was listening to this through, where I took that note from was watching the Final Cut video. So the mix imported to Final Cut, the video exported. So maybe it's just the way it printed down was weird. This sounds fine though. I guess we could listen to the actual bounce, because that's the mix in real time, right? So it'd be this beat here again.
does that make you Mandalorian? If you would only understand.
Don't hear it whatsoever. So check that off. Verse 3, palm mute buildup. These are useless, not useless. These changes here are so minor that we could have most certainly got away with releasing the mix as is here. It's not crucial, it's not going to change the overall experience, but these are just those things that you hear after you've heard it for so long, right? Verse 3, I think the guitars and bass come in a little bit loud for the buildup.
Believe you're a Mandalorian. Always a Mandalorian.
I think that we could probably take at least the bass here down a dB or two.
Believe you're a Mandalorian. Believe you're a Mandalorian.
Really weird to take it out totally. And then guitars, let's see what if we do dramatic.
What do you believe you're a Mandalorian? Always.
That's definitely interesting.
What do you believe you're a Mandalorian? Always a man.
All right, maybe a little too dramatic, but I like where we're going.
Where do you belong?
think I want it that dramatic. So this is down 2.2. I think it should just be down a dB, and that would be fine. You'll get this smooth sort of crescendo into the next part. Because what I was hearing was like junk, 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 junk. Like the chords just come in out of nowhere and start chunking away.
Do you believe you're a Mandalorian?
Whereas now,
Do you believe you're a Mandalorian? Always a Mandalorian.
that's cool. I like that a lot. And then last thing, brighten vocals gently. I don't know if this is like vocal bus. Just, take all the vocals up here, see what happens. Or if it's the whole mix. What? Doing that EQ boost on the master track there, if we boost 4 or 5 kilohertz, the cymbals get too bright, but the vocals sound nice. So it's like maybe the cymbals are just a little too loud, and they definitely are like singing through. I like that for this rocking out part here though, this chorus. You know what, if we mute the cymbals though, like still maybe a little dark. But where was that? So that's at 2. What is this doing? Because I know we had some of this brightening. That mid-range, we did duck some mid-range, but that kind of makes it cut. Could be partially why we're losing some of it. Okay, let's put the cymbals back in. Then maybe it's tuck in. Yeah. Didn't we just raise this too? So let's tuck this, 4K in. That's at minus 1.5. We redo that. That's at 1 dB more compared to our last mix. Okay, so we've done a bunch of tweaks here. We added some high end to the vocals. We even added a little bit more mid-range in, loosening up on some of the dynamic EQ that's tucking in like the nasally mid-range. And we took out some high end from the cymbals. So again, another sort of inching movement, but now the vocals sound a little bit loud, but that's kind of was the point, to make the vocals more present. So let's roll it back and do some more listening, and then maybe we'll print and see how we feel about it. Said we weren't gonna make crazy changes, but this is what happens at that last yard line. It's like, is this gonna be it? It's, I made the note, brighten the vocals gently. It really didn't mean brighten the vocals because they're not bright enough. It was more like, I can't quite hear them in the way that I want to hear them. And sometimes the note that you've made is hitting on an issue, but what you wrote isn't actually the root cause. It's not that they need to be brighter, it's that they're fighting with the cymbals a little bit, and they could be brighter, or the cymbals could be duller, and they could have more mids, and they, balance each other. Mixing, it's balance. I think we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna take a couple minute break here to just let my ears refresh, and then I'll print it down, really zone in. Maybe that's the one. Maybe mix 5 is the one.
Studio Diary!
So I just printed down mix 5, and I have to say my favorite thing about it is how much I can hear the vocals clearly. Definitely an improvement there. But it is oh no, it's the vocal now too loud. You know, you put it up, you put it down, you put it up, you put it down. It's an annoying battle. But I don't think there's anything wrong with a too loud vocal. There's a point where it becomes disconnected from the mix, but it is difficult now to be like, the last mix, it was certainly like tucked in, right? But we've turned the vocal up and the cymbals down. So everything is kind of skewed. The balance is changed again. That's what happens when you make a mix revision, Roy. But then there's this theoretical battle of, do you want the vocal loud and proud? Well, of course I do, because I think that's probably the most unique thing about these dumb songs is that it's my voice. Anybody could have these guitars or these drums or like write a song about Star Wars, but it's my voice. That's the most unique thing about this. But is it too pop? Is it too rock? Vice versa? Believe it or not, some people will mix down their songs and mix down a version with a vocal up a dB and a vocal down a dB. A common practice to have sort of all of those iterations to see where you eventually fall. So, I'm going to have to listen to this again tonight and tomorrow morning to just double check if I like where that vocal is. I think I'll take another listen in the studio here, maybe on speakers. I was listening on headphones, of course. That's part of it. You hear all these different environments. Like I said, I listened on earbuds earlier and I heard something funny. So you use all those to your advantage and try not to drive yourself insane. Have fun with the process, right? I'm having fun, but I am ready to freaking move on. Let's move on from this. So, 24 hours from now, we'll be able to move on.
Behind the scene.
I'll let you in on a little secret. I just did another mix bounce. I couldn't stick to my guns is what it comes down to. The vocal bus was at minus 7.4. I said, let's drop it to minus 7.5, 1/10 of a dB just to be safe. And I opened up our EQ. That was boosted 2.8 dB and I brought that down to 2.7. Did one more bounce and it felt just fine. It was like, okay, I can still hear the vocal, but it's not like above and beyond. This is the stupid thing. 0.2 of a dB, and one of those in just a certain frequency range. To me, made a difference right now. It might be a psychological thing. No one's going to notice on YouTube on their laptop at 480p, most likely. I would really be curious to know if anyone has ever thought, hey, I couldn't hear the vocals here, or the vocals were too loud here. I did get one comment on my Patreon. Shout out to patreon.com/RoyishGoodLooks and all of the wonderful patrons there helping to support what I'm doing. But I do remember getting a comment there when I did the special edition remix of Galaxy Far, Far Away. If you want to hear a brand new version of that song, or a remix of that song, a special edition, sign up at Patreon. Somebody had said that the original version is like really loud, and it is. And the new version I made is actually a little quieter. So I know that some people are listening to the mixes outside of just the song, right? The actual sonics of it. So I'm curious to hear if anybody out there, you've obviously watched this whole series, so you must care about this nerdy side of it. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section or on Patreon. I'd love to have you there as well. With that said, I'm going to bounce this, and I do have the other mix. I'm going to call this new one Mix 6. I still have Mix 5, which was at 7.4. So if I do determine, hey, I want it louder, we could always go back to that old mix, and everything would be just okay. But I think we've worked on this too long today. I've been chatting too long today. Let's go home. Let's do something else today.